Well, listen, before I say what I have to say, I want to give a shout out to Kalani, the singer Kalani. She actually was somebody who spearheaded behind the scenes and very publicly her thoughts on Kalen, and what she felt from the very beginning that he was guilty. She had privately shared with me that she was frustrated that we had interviewed Kalen because she felt like it was giving this clown a platform. But again, I have my reasoning for what I do, and she doesn't run Hollywood Unlocked. I do. So I do want to give her props for bringing this to light. It's also important to note that Kalani allegedly dated this guy at one point. And so there was a lot of gray area between their relationship and the back and forth on social media because he was obsessed with her and she was obsessed with putting him in jail. And rightfully so, if this is what he was doing. She did a great job advocating for these women. And I think one of the women, from what I understand, was somebody that was close to her. And that, while he was in this relationship, allegedly, or on his way out of it, he took advantage of this young girl. And I'll say allegedly for the sake of not knowing whether he was found guilty of this or not, because there's so many people. But Kalani took to her Instagram this week and had a lot to say about the verdict once the verdict was handed down, and I want to react to it. Take a look.
Who victim blamed when this came out. I did not forget who tore down victims of sexual assault when this came out. I did not forget what bloggers and what blogs and what platforms felt like they had to play neutral and give a rapist a platform for the sake of clicks and views when this came out. I hope all of y'all beat the out of your own ass today. I hope you eat your words. This man is going to jail for the rest of his life, guilty as hell. And it's crazy that it took this for y'all to believe it, because it should have been believed when all the came out. But I hope you feel like and God bless these girls, and thank God that they're getting some form of peace that they have not been able to get through this entire process. That's all I have to say. I don't want to be screaming at my phone.
I want to respond to what she said directly to you, Kalani. And I can't speak for every blogger, a blog, or whatever. I can just speak for me being a culture critic, not a blogger who owns a platform, who actually interviewed him, because I don't know all the interviews that he did do. Um, you know, it's people like you that want the public to arrive at an opinion before the courts do. It's people like you that gaslight and exacerbate an underlying racial problem in this country, where white people rush to judgment and convict us in the streets and on social media before they do in court. It's people like you that don't understand that you can be an advocate for women without wanting the public to rush to judgment and want a black man hung in public before he has his due process. Unfortunately, the way that I'm set up as a black man and as a gay black man who goes through discrimination two different ways, I don't have the privilege of getting on Instagram and saying somebody should die and be burned at the cross before they have their day in court. Part of what we do as storytellers is give clowns a platform, like we did in giving you a platform to say what you said about us, right? And we give those clowns a platform to say what they need to say that you could then turn around and use against them. But to go and blame us for not publicly dragging him to hell before he had his day in court, let me be very, very clear. That is the problem in our world today, where people in their whole lives are judged and destroyed before they have their day in court. And when sometimes they get to court and they're found not guilty, because let's be very clear, there are men and women who make false allegations about people when it comes to sexual assault. That clearly was not the case here, but we do know that that is an actual fact. There's a man that just got released from prison the other day who served, I think, 40 years in prison or something crazy for a crime that he did not commit. And so, Emmett Till, do we have to keep going back and back and back to history of where black men have been killed or have been jailed for things that were not true? And so, while I understand she's closer to this situation, whether it's because she knew the girls or she was dating the guy, you can't put us all on the side of aligning with a rapist because we chose not to prosecute him before he had his day in court. But just like we're putting a bow on this story by talking about it and showing your point of view, maybe you should just go back to singing or be a full-time advocate for women. But be very clear, if you criticize those of us that have a job to do in terms of storytelling, don't think that I'm going to sit back and just say, okay, cool, Kalani's upset. Now, Damage, I know you have a different opinion. So go ahead.
It's not necessarily a different opinion. I think everybody up here does not support anything about Kalen Walker at all, period. And me personally, I despise him. I would never want to sit down and talk to him. So I understand an emotional response because I want to slap out of him. So I get her emotional response to this. It's not fair to say people are trying to play neutral. At the end of the day, I despise this man, but I can't break a rule that can help somebody else just because I hate him so much. And that rule is everyone should have the opportunity to have their point of view and speak their side of the story. And like Blue said, it's good to get both sides because you do not want to empower a serial rapist. But at the same time, as much as I hate this man, and I do, what you've done on this platform was needed. And honestly, I think it actually, in some cases, helped those young ladies get justice that was served.
Mhm.
Yeah, I believe in believe but verify. So you can believe that he's guilty, but still want to verify and make sure that you dot your I's and cross your T's. Because when you don't do diligence, you're actually helping the abuser. Perfect example. And I understand why Kehlani's feeling like this. Like to your point, Damage. She's my birthday twin. We're protective. So she's very
Mm-hmm.
protective of these young ladies. And I know when I'm protecting somebody, I will scorch the earth anybody who was messing with them. So she's having an emotional reaction while we're all having a logical reaction. So I completely understand why there's a disparity here. But a perfect example is, Chris Brown. Chris Brown has been in the public fodder for a very long time, had all these allegations. But that last young lady who accused him, if we had all said, well, we know Chris Brown be doing stuff, so let's just throw him under the bus, we would have looked stupid and had egg on our face and been journalistically irresponsible when it came out that she was extorting him. So even when we think somebody is a dastardly individual, we still have to verify and we still have to go through due diligence. So I get where she's coming from emotionally, but logically, she got this one wrong.
She's gotten it wrong a few times when it comes to her relationship with the blogs. And let me say something. It's a lot of y'all singers that ain't even reached number one on the Hot 100 list. Y'all need to focus on the things that are important to your career instead of how we do our job as journalists or bloggers or media companies or whatever. I understand the frustration. And what I loved about Kalani's leadership, I'll even say, in this instance is that she put us on the phone with the accusers. She made sure that there was a connection. She also shared her private thoughts on Halle Berry allegedly bailing him out of jail when he was arrested the first time. She never talked about that publicly, and I never saw her slam Halle Berry. Kalani, you told me from your mouth to my ears that you thought Halle Berry, or that the rumor was that Halle had bailed him out of jail. Why didn't you slam her? It's easy to slam the blogs, the bloggers, all of us that are looked at as problematic, but why don't you slam Halle Berry? Because you know what would happen. She would turn around, or something would happen online with the fans. They'd come after you. But you're not going to spill tea or drop tea or think that you got something on us who are doing our job, and you're not going to spill it all. Now, I never said nothing about what you said about Halle Berry, but here it is. I'm putting it out there now because now it's all on the table. You know what I mean? Slam Halle Berry. Halle, call Kalani and see what she think about you allegedly bailing this now convicted rapist, and from his words, your friend, out of jail. Okay, cool. Well, listen, Sydney responded to the verdict, and this is what she had to say.
So I honestly wasn't even sure if there would ever be a day that I get to share this news with you guys. But the person who raped me and so many other people was found guilty today of rape and is facing a lot of time in prison. I'm so immensely grateful for everybody and everything that everybody has. I'm trying to do this without crying, Lord. I'm so grateful for everybody who testified on the behalf of all of his victims, because I know that not every single voice got the chance to be heard. I'm so grateful of the people who spoke up about the injustice that was happening and, made our voices heard, specifically made my voice heard. I'm appreciative to Kehlani, to India, you guys.
Yeah, so listen, Sydney, I hope that you get, whatever support that you deserve to work through this. You're a strong woman. I commend you and every other woman and every other man who steps up and holds their attackers accountable. And to Kaalan, I have to say, I never believed you. I never believed you for a second when you said on this show. I never believed you on your social media. There was never a moment where I saw anything you said and believed that it was true. I also want to say to your fans or your company, team, people who support you, who tried to chase me down on Clubhouse, attacking me for supporting the victims and allowing them a platform to say their part, because I was getting attacked over on Clubhouse from his people saying that I was allowing these people to destroy another black man, and they were literally harassing me. And like I told him, shut up, stupid. I'm not court. But the court has spoken and your man's is going down, and rightfully so. There was always something weird about this guy. And, I live in a space and sit in a seat where I see a lot of stories told every day that sometimes I'm like, yo, that don't even seem right. Yo, this don't even seem right, because sometimes people do lie. But I never for one moment thought that anybody in this situation, including Kalani, were lying about Kaalan. So it's great to see justice served. Now he's reportedly looking at up to 100 years in prison. Castration should be a part of that sentence.